Hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about hearing the Holy Spirit. I've heard the Holy Spirit on various occasions, but the one that stands out the most was when I was working for a building society. In other countries you'll call it a very small bank. I had a lot of work to do, so went to work very early the one day. I parked my car at the front of the bank and began to walk to the back door. As I walked down the side of the building, I felt someone grab me from behind. He held, let's call it a piece of metal to my throat and dragged me to the back of the building. I fell on the grass and thought the worst was going to happen to me. However, within seconds he had his hands on my vocal cords and I could feel myself slipping away. Everything was getting darker and darker around me. Darkness was closing in, and as I could feel his weight on my vocal cords, I remember saying, "God, help me." All of a sudden, I heard a voice in my left ear saying, "Just relax." It was not just any voice, it was full of authority. It was an instruction. It wasn't just, "Please relax," it was just relax. I immediately made my whole body go limp. When that happened, the man let go and I was able to breathe again. Needless to say, their intention was to get money from the bank and not physically harm me. Another time the Holy Spirit spoke to me was when I was still working. It was the end of the year and each person was called in to be told if they were going to be given an increase and or bonus for the year. About 15 minutes before my turn came, I went outside, far from my office, and prayed and asked that I be given a nice bonus. I prayed and suddenly I heard a voice, very still little voice, and it said, "Be specific." I turned around thinking that there was maybe someone behind me. There was no one. Nope, I was all alone. It was the Holy Spirit. Again, I didn't have an amount of money in mind, so just said an amount which was totally unrealistic and unreasonable, and about twice the amount that I'd been given the year before. And I thought, wow, that was cheeky of me, but anyway, he asked for an amount, I gave him an amount. I was then called into my boss's office and he gave me my letter which stated what my increase would be. I looked at the amount of my bonus. It was the exact amount that I told the Holy Spirit I wanted. I just looked at the letter in total disbelief. My mouth fell open and tears welled up in my eyes. I just said thank you to my boss and walked out. I was in total shock. I couldn't wait to get around the corner to thank God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit for what they had just done. So what I needed to share with you is that the Trinity is always there through the good times and the bad. You just need to call on God when you are in need of help and then be quiet. The Holy Spirit speaks softly and gently. I often think about that bonus and know that my letter had already been typed before the meeting. So God knew even before I even mentioned the amount what I wanted to ask for and what I was actually going to get. It had already been done. But I actually cannot explain it. Coincidence? Definitely not. It was literally down to the last cent. That's it for today, everybody. This is Granny K, signing off.